You started it already?
I'm pausing the recording.
One, two,
Yeah.
three, four, five. Okay, let's start the meeting with a pledge. Meeting order. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the back of your shirt. Yep, she got it. All right, clerk, please.
Mr. Albrecht.
Here.
Day.
Here.
Gurecki. Scarano.
Here.
Warnzak.
Here.
Oh, no.
Here.
Okay, Warren.
Morris present. Jen, you want to read our mission statement, please?
Yes. The Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency delivers economic incentives to the businesses and industry to diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, business and industrial development, and community revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Who do we have on the?
We do have Smullen.
Some of them smaller.
Good morning. Morning, guys.
Morning, Jim Moss. Okay. All right, and Bernie Poplinski in the audience, along with John Stevens and Bob Schrader, our legislators. And also the business review. Essentially. Okay, so let's continue on item number 4. Call the audit committee meeting to order.
Just so everyone realizes, the audit committee is the committee of a whole, so we're now into the audit committee for review.
All right, let's go to item number 5, New York City Comptroller's audit response. That's on pages 1 and 2 in your pack. And can you walk us through this?
Sure, we, just 1 second.
It's Howell, he's really kind.
So it just talks about, one of the issues that they discovered, doing our audit. Most of our procedures and issues were worked out while they were here. One thing that we do stand firmly behind is when we do a sales tax exemption, everything on all of the reports say for estimated sales tax exemption, everything on the paperwork, everything provided by the state. When they found that we had one of our projects went over by $6,155, they thought that we should have to claw back that. It clearly says estimated on everything. We don't think we need to do that. We told them to change that to actual if they wanted something done. To estimate to be as close as 6,100 on a project is really very good. So we pushed back and said we were not going to change that. We were not going to claw back. All we would have to do is bring this out and try to claw that back. Their attorney would say it clearly says estimate everywhere, and we would not win, and it would be a stupid thing to do. So we're just recommended that we move along with what they said. We told them back that we would not do that. The other thing that they wanted us to make sure we were doing is signing off on checks when we process them. We do now have 3 people that can sign or verify the checks, can't sign the checks, but can verify. So we put that into place when they were here. So that's all these letters said, and we need to have the board vote in order to push this through.
Okay, any questions? Regard to the audit? Need a motion to accept the auditor's response?
No, our response to the audit.
I'm going to do a motion. John Morano, second by Mike Winzak. Any more discussion? On favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. The motion to adjourn the audit committee. John Morano, Mike Winzak. Thank you. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 7, the minutes of the May 24th meeting were sent or are in your packet. No additions, corrections, deletions, etc. Hearing none, I'll need a motion to accept. Corey, second by Motion carried. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. The May financial reports are on pages 9 through 15 in the packet. I'll start with the financial report, balance sheet, and check register. John?
Yes, but one quick thing about the minutes. It might look like there's a lot here, which there is from our previous ones, but they are required to be on our site every meeting. So if something came up and you couldn't make a meeting, or if there's information that you need and thought you remembered something from a previous one, they're all located on our website. We are doing well with our budget. Here we are halfway through, even though it only says May, but we're halfway through the year. Projects have been coming in. We haven't done as many expenses. We do have some things we're moving ahead more with marketing, some travel expenses that'll be coming up. We'll talk about that a little later. We already received approval from the chairman at the last meeting. And we have done more maintenance on the properties too as well. If you go by Skylar now, you'll see how it's all mowed down, and the same way with Russell Farm. Russell Farm, we're doing a lot more to maintain it. We actually put up some posted signs too in both locations where we don't have individuals. We got a few complaints at Russell, so we had to clean that up, but it's good that we maintain it that way anyways. And the same way for Skylar. I'm probably going to reach out to our farmer that plows the fields for us and have him mow down the remainder of Skylar. Even though a couple of the properties are under contract, I'd like to clean that up a little bit. Just makes it more appealing, and we do have some opportunities to move some of that other property there. So, and he's relatively inexpensive, and it's well worth it for just to keep the site going that way. I just have to verify. I think I told Emrich to leave the markers up for the survey, and if I did, that causes a little bit of problem, but I'll see where that is right now. Other than that, we're still looking financially good. We received some great support from the legislature and administration last week, and I'll talk about that in the upcoming meeting here, just a little bit. Everybody's up to date on all of their loans and grants, or their grants, I should say. Things are moving ahead nicely.
Any questions? Motion to accept that. Tim, second by Cory. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried.
So one thing we didn't really talk about was the payment in lieu of taxes, in lieu of tax. That sheet is located in here, and it gives you what the town, city, villages, really nothing at the villages, school side, what we've received as of 5/27. So that's outlined in here too. Payment in lieu of taxes has been a help for us when we're looking to pay back the county for infrastructure. It also increases in most cases the amount that the individual municipality will receive, because most of the time that land is either tax exempt or farmland. So we've been able to truly help out those communities by doing these pilots.
Item number 9. Small business loan grant funds, CDB cares. Adams.
We received word on Friday of last week that Herkimer County was awarded $500,000 in grant funds to assist medium-sized businesses, so businesses with 6 to 25 employees, with grants to help with COVID, impacts of COVID, be it past or present. So the grants will range from $25,000 to $100,000 for eligible costs back to March of 2020. That's quite a lot of money, and we have 1 year to spend it. So we'll be very busy coming into the fall with getting grants out to those small or medium-sized businesses.
Give us some examples of how we use that. So in case somebody asks us, how would they?
So marketing adaption. So if you increasing the online sales, if you have a curbside delivery or pickup modifications, access to broadband internet modifications, safety, improving the flow of your business. So people entering in on one side and exiting another, efficiency. So point of sale equipment to get people moving through the business faster. So there's not a lot of people standing in one place at one time. air quality improvements. It's a very wide array, workforce development to train people on those new products that they would be using. Very wide array of options available.
Also new markets, for an example, if a machine shop wanted to buy, say, a $300,000 piece of equipment to go after a new market, say, their equipment couldn't handle this diverse market, we're gonna help support them with part of that money. It's also gonna have to, he's working through the Small Business Administration as well on this. And I'm sorry, the Small Business Development Center. And they're gonna help them write their need, since they've been doing this all along, to match what the money will do. And we have about 6 or 7 people that are already.
We do have quite a list of
That are already
businesses to
ready to
contact.
be involved in this. So we don't think there'll be a lag time on it. We've been working with CDBG now since, for quite a while. And all of our grants seem to work well. In fact, they were, and Mr. Wallace was on the last call. They're very excited. They want to come here and see some of the projects, and they normally haven't done that. So it's good to see them wanting to come to a lot of things that we support. But we will turn the money fast. We will have a lot at our meetings. We might have to call a special meeting from time to time if we need to. But it's definitely going to work with the different manufacturers out there. The case tries, the upstairs, the CTMs and RDRs and turbo machine products and HPKs. Well, they're a little too big now. HPK, but yeah, so there's a couple of them in there that we've been talking to. We're very excited to move that ahead. It's just a blown up program compared to our micro enterprise. The key is, as Victoria mentioned, we want to have a year. So we want to make sure that process is correctly. And they're not out of money yet. So if we do a good job, and depending on how this works, we might request more funds. But it's a nice county our size to get 500,000 to help out. It's a huge win.
These programs are connected to jobs as well, so they'll have to show retention or adding new positions.
Retention has been.
Is it one or the other?
No, it can be both.
It can
It can
be
be a
both.
combination. But retention is huge right now. For one thing, because of the size of the labor market. But the other thing is, they want to keep the people working. And if they can expand their product, cross-train some individuals and show some new growth, that's important. That question, Jim.
I did answer it as far as turnover time, application, we would turn it over. That will.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll still rely on Herkimer County as we had for our other ones. And we'll work with Mr. Wallace and his team to push it.
Is there something Victor could do with a news release on that?
Ryan will be working on that. Yeah.
Ryan,
You say media stuff.
you're out of it.
Parameters,
6 to 25.
At the time of grant, when they submit, so I mean, if they bump up a little, we'll probably be able to do it with them still. And we found ways to keep this going, so I mean, we're excited. And we'll work with them on their low to median income requirements and everything else that we need to do.
Okay, great. Sewer, the sewer, 222.
So we currently have funds submitted to Nathan Seaman and Griffey's Contracting. They were approved in earlier meetings. Those are both scheduled to close later this week. So once those close, there will be next to nothing in the account. So we'll have to get some of those loans paid back off, and then we'll be able to re-let more funds.
Now, there is no more SAM's grant opportunities with the state at this time. But what we have never looked at earmark money for this, maybe we will. But we cannot take any of our money and put it towards this because we're not able to utilize our money for this. So that's the problem. We'd really like to help with that, but it's changed. So we're hoping that we see some of these payoffs happen soon and we can keep the project going. He never sent in an application. And he really could with this new one too, for construction too. I mean, they'll just have to do, which we are gonna work with Lorraine on the seeker and the NEPA for this grant as well.
All right, 10, market update.
His first name was Ryan, but I call him. Yeah.
My name's you just.
Sometimes Brian, I call him, sometimes Kevin, sometimes just the boy.
On the first sheet of the packet, we're gonna look at the social media engagement rate. Engagement rate refers to how actively people are interacting with your posts. So let's say 1,000 people saw one of your posts online and 100 people clicked on it, either liked it, shared it, or you just clicked on like an image. That means that your post has a 10% engagement rate. Engagement rate is arguably one of the most important metrics when it comes to social media. It shows there is a connection between the business and its followers. When it comes to good engagement rate, less than 1% is low, between 1 and 5% is good, 5.5 to 6 is high, and above 6, you're experiencing very high engagement rate. For our social media posts, although our follower count is slowly building, I know this month it was a little slower with LinkedIn. We are still experiencing very high engagement rate for our posts, which is very good. Most companies aim for about 1% engagement rate on Facebook and 2 on LinkedIn. And as you can see, like with this one, specifically 9% in Facebook and 11% on LinkedIn. So we did very well. Other than the small decline in May on Facebook, we are continuously producing a very high engagement rate with our content, which is a good metric to have. If we turn to the next page. So we had the idea decided that we're going to produce an ad for the CNY Business Journal for this year's edition. So I created a little advertising piece for our 15-acre site in our Schuyler Business Park. It's a little similar to what I did for the profile sheet. I just kind of put a backdrop on the site layout, a little for sale sign, get a quick little overview of what you can expect, and we want people to call in, see if they're interested, and get more details on that site specifically.
So the CNY Business Journal comes out with a book every year and what's going on with the growth and everything here in central New York and the Mohawk Valley. Last year, we were featured in the magazine, this year again, and that's the ad that we're going to put in there.
Can we put shovel right in?
I'm going to say that most of that's an assumption right now. So we're really just hoping that they call. So if they call, we can engage in that. Our engagement level's been huge in this past few months, so we want to continue that. And the more reasons for them to call, I believe. But thank you. The dirt's in the details.
And on the last page, similar to that 15-acre site that I showed you all last month, I created one for a little 6.3 acre site that we have in our Schuyler Park, and we really are hoping to add a convenience store to help service the increased amount of traffic that's going to be in and out of the park, and would be a really great addition. The drawings included on this, those little 2 pictures on the bottom, they were created by Delta, and they also created a flyover video of the showcasing convenience store as well as the entire park that we're looking to market to different companies that we believe will be a great fit for this location.
We did update our traffic study. The traffic came back at closer to about from 5,000 up to around 7,000, maybe about a little bit more than that. So that puts us in a very good realm right now. Some of the companies that we've already reached out to, Green Apple, which is new to most of you, but they're redoing the whole thruway. They're huge in the UK, but they signed that agreement with New York State. So this might give them a good opportunity since it's so close to the Schuyler Rest area. We've reached out to Burn Dairy, Stewart's, Moravigo, but we have a few more. We haven't sent them the updated data, which myself and Ryan will be working with them very short. Thanks, Brian.
So, on to item 11, Manhattan Business Park.
The first thing I want to start out with was the meeting I had Wednesday night that the legislature was at, and also Mr. Day attended, as well as Mr. Wallace and Ms. Radula, the budget officer. I presented to the Herkimer County, to the board, what our needs were coming up for the industrial parks as far as infrastructure and what we were looking to do there. So one of the ones I presented was Mannheim. Working with the village, we have received 2 point, I can't remember the amount, it's more than that, 4 point something for the, 4 point something for the WIA grant, $1 million from Northern Borders, 800,000 from the CFAs. So we're set there, but we still we had a shortfall of about 1.7 million to bring in the water tower, the water line, and the sewer line. So, meeting with the village already and Delta, which we're voting on, we voted on line to do the Delta one. We're just gonna ratify that today. But going to the ledge, it passed both the Ways and Means and Planning and Development Committees. So that's a very unanimously, I might add. Great questions that night, a lot of interaction. They gave me more time than I anticipated. I was very happy to be able to speak for about an hour and a half on all of our projects. I thought it went great. There were a lot of questions.
We also put earplugs in, so you know.
Yeah, you can all mock me now, but I'll be invited to the ribbon cutting, but we'll put you all under the water tower. No, Russell is going first through the project. But, so we're very excited and that we'll be able to move ahead with this project. So, and once again, too, they were great questions. It just seemed like we had the great opportunity and to have 17, or I think there was 15 or 14 individuals there, including, and also Mr. Wallace and Ms. Verdula. I thought it was great because it gave us a good chance to really talk about things that we're doing not only there, but in Schuyler and the water transmission line that night. So it was a great opportunity, and we have some great growth going on. And once again, it could not happen without the support of the entire county. And so it was a very good opportunity. So the first item on there would be the Delta Engineering Water and Sewer main extensions. And we sent out an email to you earlier to have them support as our lead engineers on this. And it just works out better that we do hire a firm that knows how to dot the i's and cross the t's and understands pressures and where the water needs to go. I mean, we already, because of the hard to get pipe, we already were able to discuss with them plastic piping and a lot of different things. So we're eager to move ahead with that. We just need to ratify that.
Motion. Corey, second. Mike, any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Park design.
So in moving ahead and trying to speed up the process for many reasons on this, one is the grant timeline. The other is getting the water and sewer in place. We want to work with a firm to help move the design along and potential for the site. Where it would be located, where the lines would go, where the water would fit best, how much electricity, how much gas concurrently. So it really does assist us with that and help move that project along. I'm requesting $50,000 to support the $125,000 project. The overall project potential could be upwards of $45 million. 80 to 85,000 square feet. And I believe to do this would really move that along and solidify the growth. We have not reached out to the state for some of the things that will happen in this project. Some of the things in negotiations we'll talk about in executive session. But I think it's important that we keep this ball rolling. And we can, you know, and we do have the funding available. So I would recommend highly that we do support this with $50,000.
Comments? Discussion.
I'll make the motion to do that.
Motion by Sparano, second by Corey.
Is that up to 50 grand or you need
50. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, they gave us, all right, any more discussion? We'll call the roll.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Scarano,
Yes.
Warnzak. Yes. Bono.
Yes.
And yeah, one other thing, tomorrow I'm taking Mr. Day and Mrs. Growecki on a tour of the parks, and it will include Manheim. If anybody hasn't seen that or wants to go, just let me know. But we're leaving here at 11 o'clock. So we can show you where those are, and it's a good opportunity for both of them to see where our projects lie.
Item 12, let's go to the business park, the roads. This is what you want.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about though for the park is the water line. myself and Dan,
Something-
Balzinski, fellow Polish guy, what's his name? Balzinski, met with the water authority and it went okay, but it didn't go as I thought. They're totally against us using a plastic pipe over there, even though it's a straight 2,000 feet. And we had some stories back and forth, but it wasn't the place to really, debate anything. It was just more of a listening thing. But since then, we have found that they are voting to change a different project in order to provide us with the pipe that we need to put it in under their requirements. So that's moving ahead at a nice pace. But we still need the health department on board. So I'm trying to see what we're gonna do to cut down on construction costs would be to put the pipe in at the same time we're doing the road. Not underneath the road, but it's easy to dig up alongside where everything will go. But we're still working that out. But the concern lies with some of the issues with pressure and what we've asked for in the park and developments and first thing was said that we should be coming to them first when we have things in the park. And my thought was, we talked to you about discussions of what we needed there and we were said we were fine. But those are things that are going to be ongoing. I'm setting up a meeting with their board to have some good discussions. I'm hoping Mr. Bono can attend. I'll let the rest of the board know when that is, if you all want to attend. I've never met with their board. I know a lot of their members. They're all business people. They all want to see success happen. Herkimer County is growing in their alignment in their group, so they haven't really seen that before. So it'll be a good chance for us to all talk. Some of the things that their engineers didn't realize, well, if you do this, you can set up a separate district. We can't. You run all of it. So there's a lot of things that are learning on both sides. So I don't want to say that's going to slow us down. I'm not sure at this date what that's going to do. I know that we have under contract in that park 2 other properties, a 10-acre and a 25-acre, and I know both of them want to start some site work soon. So we really want to move ahead with the road. So what I'm asking for today with the roads B and C construction is, and I couldn't sign that prior to the fact that the county has agreed to support us too. I wanted to make sure we're only short by a couple $100,000, but I didn't want to move ahead. But now I think it's okay that we move ahead. I know they're going to vote on it as a complete county at their next meeting, but I feel the support's there for at least 8 or 9 votes, and I think that we'll get that through. So I would like to recommend that we select Landco to do roads B and C. If we have a map over there, a drawing if you want to see, but B takes you right off the cul-de-sac, the cul-de-sac and brings you through down to the property. Then road C brings you along the backside of Fountainhead in order to get to the back 35.8 acres that we have available. So the project is about $1.4 million, give or take, and we'd like to move ahead with that.
Any concerns going? Does anybody express another fire department?
Well, we put the hammerheads in the end that said that was fine. Even a loop wouldn't get them out of the park. There's only one entrance in and out of the park, and that's on Route 5. So
Getting them out of the park property.
Delta has met with them and they signed off on that. And they said the hammerheads were fine for them to turn around. There's nothing in the codes that say we have to do that. We're moving ahead with the way that we believe we need to continue on.
I was just approached by the fire chief and he had a concern that if there's an incident of Pepsi and the road is blocked, middle of the day, or whatever, the people on the other end of the park would not be able to egress the park.
No,
No emergency accident.
Correct.
there's no other exit at this time.
We should consider.
No, that's not a, yeah, they've all said it's okay. We haven't had an issue from codes or anybody else. Concerns are one thing. Concerns were why we put the hammerheads in there. In order for the fire trucks to turn around.
To turn around.
But that's one individual. So to spend, can you tell me where the money would come from to
So
send
that
that?
come from us, I guess, it would come from us. That's all I'm saying.
It's not a necessity. It's a one.
I understand.
Yeah. I'm all about, convenience is one thing, we're all inconvenienced at different times, but we can't afford that. There's no reason to do it. If there was a code or something mandated it, we would have been all over it. But without that,
I guess it all depends on the final design. If we get somebody in there 35 acres that needs whatever, I mean, we could actually make an entrance, yeah, right away.
through the along the throughway, we could if we needed to.
Don't worry about that. Okay.
But today's fire suppression that they have, I'm not sure that they would be like some of these older buildings. I mean, the sprinkler system and all of these other things they have set up in there, and the fire hydrants right on site. I mean, would they really need to block everything or coordinate it through the fire department and 911, how to get the people out?
The hydrants are on that side of the roads, missing a plus, but anyway, okay. Anything else? Need a motion, right?
How about-
Was motion made? No. Need a motion for the, to construct roads B and C with land. John Sperano, Corey, any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Scarano,
Yes.
Warren Zach,
Yes.
Bono.
Yes. Yes. Change order on, Ken Dodge Drive.
Yeah, at the initial where Ken Dodge Drive started, in the beginning, they had some work that was in there that Delta and them sat down and didn't think we needed. After the road was construction, it still puddled up and caused some issues there, so we did need to go back and do that. What was that, $11,000? So that was all fixed and I'm going to do the change order just so you know. So you do need to come down.
The motion to, approve that change order. Tim, second by Mike Monzak, any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay, carried. 15-acre parcel division.
Yeah, I know this isn't gonna make Mr. Halleck happy, but the other day I did show the 15 acres we had set aside for a different development that's still on the fence. I brought a developer in there that's is a high-tech type facility, making prototypes and some really high-tech machining. They only need 5 acres, less than 5, but they would buy 5 for expansion purposes. I showed them out into the park, the 3.5 acres, but it just didn't fit when you look out your window or door and see all the piles of sawdust and different things. I don't know if we want to do this, but I thought that it'd be good to bring to the board. If we did have the opportunity to move ahead, would we look at subdividing that into a 5 and 10 acre parcel? 10 acres we can sell. We know that. That's warehouse space for 150, 200,000 square foot warehouse could fit on 10 acres. So I think that we continue with the way it is right now until we have something firm set up. But I'm just curious if that would be the pleasure of the board to to divide that out or to continue it as 15. I don't want to promise that individual we would move ahead unless the board was behind it.
I support it as much as it's worth for Tony, but it's his job. So.
I didn't say a word. My
My
car's on autopilot.
We have a lot to, it takes a lot to submit a change. Another secret. Well, Tony's very nice with his bills. We're very happy about the way he treats the IDA. And it is more work for him. We would have to have survey done, but however, I don't want to say but, I want to say however, it's a younger gentleman who has a lot of things going on positive. They do have financial support, high tech. I think their building would look that way too. I think it would fit in nicely there. But I don't want to, if not, myself and Ryan continue to market 15 acres, doesn't matter. But I think if we want to support smaller companies, and we're going to talk about smaller companies later on the agenda, but it's up to you all, but I don't want to move ahead unless you all think we should.
I support it. I just think it's a good fit. Take it. Take it.
Yeah, I think they have to. Yeah.
What's the name of this group?
I can't say that.
Oh.
Project Widget.
I get confused.
You know, they can take the 15, say, well, we'll take the 10, but I might be able to expand down the road.
Well, they won't be. I mean, everything's there is landlocked. There's no doubt that, Pepsi can't expand. I mean, Fountainhead did the right thing, but they have plans for the expansion already. And they're seeing that too, and, maybe, there's just other ways that they could grow there. So, well, 25 to start, but he's, what he's doing is gonna add more. And he, and he might build a big enough one that he'll lease half of his warehouse to somebody else, which we're in dire need of 10,000, 20,000 square foot warehousing space in our area. But once again, we've talked about this. This is, if you all want to do that, I can move ahead. If you don't, that's not a problem either. It has to be a board decision.
John, can I ask a question? It goes back 10 minutes to Gloria. On the grant money, 500,000, does the business have to be in business before COVID?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so they've got to be 3 years in business.
yes.
I wanted to ask it again.
No, that's okay.
Anyone want to make a motion on this? Subdivide that.
Well, potential, not saying we're gonna do it tomorrow. There's no sense until we have an actual deal.
So
are
do we need a motion?
We're voting on it?
What would it?
Now, has this individual looked at the restrictions we have in the zoning over there? Because 5 acres warehouse is tight. Maybe I'm parking, so we just.
Yeah.
Want to make sure we don't go down this road and then the restricted covenants.
Everything, all I want to make sure is that we can move ahead with discussions. And I'm not gonna move ahead until they say, okay, it makes no sense.
Do we need it?
Yes, I want to make sure that you're all in agreement, please.
If that's a concern for Tony, then what's the
It's a
number?
question.
7.5?
No.
I need to look at it. I just.
Well, we're putting a warehouse on 5,000 square foot right now with a trucking.
Made a motion.
Yes.
For a second. Mike. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. All right, John, because,
Yeah. And it might not happen, and I'm not looking to do that. I looked at what he's doing, and I just think it's a high tech, it's more. They bring us some manufacturing jobs too, which are always good too.
It's an existing business.
Yes, in Utica. Or in Oneida County, they're not in Utica. Big insurance. A good one.
All right.
Good one.
Item 13 is our, we'll call business part 2 potential here, Skylar Properties, Tim Abel.
Yep. Ryan spoke to him, doesn't seem like anything was found there, so that's a big positive. One of the houses on the property, we might have to write a letter and prove that that's not a historic property, so that's our next step there. So just discussion, we don't need to take any action on that right now, sorry. I should cross that out. We had HRP Associates do a phase 1 and phase 2 on the property. We needed to vote
Yeah.
to approve. We discussed it.
To move ahead with it at the
Yeah.
last meeting, but we need
We
to.
have the amount, what was the total amount again?
10,800.
10,000, so we need that.
Maybe less.
It's gonna actually do it.
Shippo for both properties.
It's gonna be less than that.
Oh, it's gonna be less. Oh, that's true.
Right.
So not to exceed $10,000.
All right, for the phase 1 and 2. then?
Yep.
Okay, I need a motion.
Both
to-
properties.
There's 2 properties. Huh?
Yep.
All right, I need a motion. Tim, second. John Serrano, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay.
So no prehistoric, no arrowhead shavings, no carbon dating had to be done there. Thank God.
Let's wear cans.
Thank God. No, the bats don't fly that way.
You don't fly that way?
No, so we're good with that. And that's DEC.
I didn't know that. Want to vote on each?
Yeah, we want to vote on HRP too, because we have dollar amounts for both of them. Or did we already voted on one, but we got 2, right? We already voted on both of them.
No. Phase 1 and 2. You want to HRP?
Well, HRP, I gotta give you some information on. So HRP, they did a phase 1 and they found a hot spot. They did phase 2 and they confirmed that it's hot. We have a call on that this afternoon to see what it will be to remedy that. I don't know how deep they drilled. I don't know exactly everything about it right now, but we'll get that data. But we did vote on phase
No,
1.
not the amount. That was the
Okay.
problem. We did
Both
say,
of them?
go ahead.
Okay, no,
So
what's
this
it
one's 12,895
for both,
for the HRP
phase two,
phase two.
phase two.
We need a motion to vote on the HRP phase 2. Dan Scarano, second. And Dave. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay.
So we do all these things to make sure the properties are worth investing in, to make sure we don't have any error on it. So we'll present at the next meeting on the phase two report for that, and what the next steps are there. And then we'll make some recommendations on the property too. I also want to discuss too, that with my water authority meeting and the possibility of where we want to purchase this, we are being told that with possibility of us needing a water tower to support many areas of growth in Skyland. Well, no, the water tower is strictly for Skyland. It wouldn't be for anywhere else. The water transmission line is for the whole community.
We'll have that discussion, but it's all good with hydraulics. I just don't see how that doesn't affect that water transmission.
Because it's not connected to it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's in the loop. I don't know how it's
The
not.
transmission line
Well,
goes on the side of it. It's not, this, if we had the transmission line, we wouldn't need this. Well, you need to attend the next meeting.
Yeah, I know
It's, well, I'm telling you. Well, it's whether you want me to talk about the tower or not. You tell me. I'm happy not to, but when we get a $5 million bill,
I just. heard that it's so
no one's
many
more
last
hurt than me when they tell us we're all set, and then they turn around and say, oh, by the way, I think Mr. Halleck has seen that on a different project too. You get all the, you get everything you need from them, all the numbers, and then all of a sudden it's a by the way. So that's why we're meeting with that board, and that's why it'd be good if our whole board. is taking it. So, just so you know about that. Yeah.
Okay, former Chips gas station with pages 29 and 34 is there.
I'm not sure if Mr. Halleck had a chance to review the contract, but first, if anybody saw any activity over there these past few days, the town did not mow the yard. We're not sure who mowed the yard, to be honest with you. We find that interesting. But the town was there digging because they had to replace a water. So there was a lot of confusion from the county and our attorney thinking that we started ahead of time, and we did not start ahead of time. But they truly had to fix that lawn. Well, I don't know why the squatter is mowing lawn, and I gotta be honest, I'm not sure why we fixed the water leak. I'm glad we fixed, I mean, if it's a leak, but maybe just shut it off and not have it go, but they might want water at that part when it's done. Might be a good thing, man.
Village fixed.
The town, it's the town's part, the town's area, and the town guys were there yesterday. So on the chips, what you have in front of you is the a legal document that the county sent over to us to sign off on the fact that we will be the group that will go on the site. We hired HRP to move ahead and do phase 1 and phase 2. Yesterday, it was supposed to go in front of the courts, but the court replied to Lorraine and said we didn't have to attend. They were just going to make their decision on the documentation, which is fine. So it was Judge Luke, so we should hear any time. And Tony, if you want to comment on it, if you've had a chance on the document.
I did look at it last night. I'm gonna reach out to Lorraine today for a word version of it because I would like to see person. In principle, I don't have an objection. It's fairly typical of what we do, but there are a number of language changes I want to make. There, which is describe the IDA's relationship. A little verification on this, no compensation, but plus part of why we.
Okay, so if we voted today to accept the contract with your changes with the.
Oh, I think the board will be comfortable with that, yeah.
Okay, need a motion to approve that contract. Corey, second. Dan, any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Carried. Item 15.
Just one more thing on chips, just so everybody realizes. So once we get what we need to do to the park or the property, whether it's actually just capping, that's gonna be the village or the town, I'm so sorry. The town has agreed to take over the park once it's ready. We make it a parking area for the bike trail. And maintain that. So we thought that was excellent. And it really will clean up that area. So that's a positive one there. And so it's of the town of Frankfurt.
Item 15, the water transmission main, we have applied and accepted a grant. funding. So,
Yeah, so we just need to support any grant funding. This is more than just one, I believe, right, Tony? This is what your agreement said it should be. So just to give a little recap on the water thing, as we're gonna discuss this as well. Each municipality has agreed to, whatever funding isn't available, that they will take over the bonding of the project. So if we stop tomorrow and didn't get any additional funding for it, they would take care of that. But we are applying for a lot more funding. One of the grants that we'll be applying through EFC, which we have had several meetings on, should bring us about 8 million additional dollars. We're going to talk about a couple other grants that we're applying for in the other side of things. But we were also having a meeting next week on a different pipe that we're going to be able to use as a transmission pipe. For one thing, to get the get that pipe, I should ask Stacy, I can't remember that. To get that, the delivery is so long and the cost is so high. The water authority has agreed that we can use this different steel pipe that's about a third of the price. And it's available and it comes in 50-foot, up to 50-foot sections. So we feel there'll be a savings there that we'll be able to take some of the grant money that we've already secured and move that over to the project as well. So as things go, everything's moving ahead there, but this just solidifies a lot of the grants and accepting them through the IDA and how we're going to work out the project. Tony, did you want to add anything or no?
I just continue to enjoy the ride with the meetings, of the engineers and the water authority, and the supply chain issues, and et cetera.
So literally there are this whole process is we're still in development stage.
Well, we're at 60-something% of the design.
Right.
So the design includes coming down Route 5 from Schuyler to Herkimer, crossing the canal in 2 locations. One will be directional drilled under, the other will be they will part the Red Sea. And I can't wait in November, they hope to start that. So, you know, it's a unique situation. Tony's been working on easements and right of ways. They've been working with National Grid, the railroad, the Canal Corp. Delta's been seeing everything over as our set of eyes, continually looking for other solutions, working with all types of state agencies and federal agencies to find money. It's a big project, I'm truly glad that you all agreed for us to take this on, because we're just like the conduit and bringing everybody together. But to put that, go ahead with the fight. We are the fight, and to put this on an individual municipality would have been an awful lot. So I think it's moving ahead.
People, they need that water there in the village, really. And to be able to explain that to everybody, hey, be patient, it's coming, and I know people, that's their concern is there's water.
Well, I think everybody's gonna be excited soon, because we're gonna have to order that pipe soon. And there'll be locations throughout on Route 5 where we'll store it. You can't put it all in one place. And I had the opportunity to go to that biker bar on Friday night, that long ago. Quite interesting.
They treated you like gold, didn't they?
They did. 5 o'clock's an interesting hour at that biker bar. But it was, so we'll be able to store some there and some other locations. So, and everybody's willing to help. I think some might go to Mr. Bono's area as well. So it should be a great opportunity for everybody. And you, go ahead.
It's a big dig.
And it is unique. And Tony's right. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts with this. So
It's all fluid.
yeah.
Question, so I know the water authority wasn't actually shooting on that pipe,
And what they're possible, what they're quality.
The whole, no, now the steel that we're able to put in. No, it's really not. It just, this one has to have a wire put in it. It's still 1-inch thick. They apply different things to it, but it still needs what they need. They're using it within their system. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, none of us will see, I mean, there's some weird accident, but yeah, no, it won't break down while our lifetime. So, and we're gonna go probably 25-inch the whole way now. 24-inch, I'm sorry, 24-inch. Pardon? Like, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So, no, we're just excited that this is moving more and trying to get everything coordinated, and we still have to use a lot of MWBEs in this, and it's been an interesting ride so far.
Need a motion?
No.
Need a motion. Tim? Second by Cory. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Roll call. Albrecht,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Scarano,
Yes.
Warren Zach,
Yes.
Bono.
Yes.
We are having more roll call votes because of the dollar amounts and the way that the auditors came back and said these would be better ways to present. So just so you know,
If that project started today, when do you think it would?
a year and a half from now. Because it's not gonna be one contractor. We have to remember that. They'll be sectioned across. There'll be a different contractor running it under the canal. There'll be many throughout that will do this. And not all contract, like Landco, who we really like for water lines, they wouldn't be able to support this one because of the size of it. I think a 24-inch pipe, 50-foot long, there's so many things that we've been looking at with the topography and the way things lay out. In some cases, you can't put 50 because it's not straight, so there's gonna be a lot of things that go on with this project. It's gonna be unique. DOT's been great, right, Jimmy? You've been part, everybody really wants to see this happen, so it's been very exciting.
What will it cost?
Before the Frankfurt Bridge and before the Ilion Bridge. And the Ilion Bridge will be directional drilled, and at the Frankfurt, they're gonna put in these things and part the way. So my goal is to find somebody else to go across with us too, if we can get some funds for that. So we've been reaching out to everybody. Well, right now it'll be low in November, really.
When
low.
you get a brainstorm, where's the water go?
They'll constantly have pumps in there pumping it out.
No. Okay. That's weird.
Yeah, I think you need to discuss that with them. I know a lot, Jim, but I don't know that.
Jim, they did the same thing in Ilion with Steele's Creek. They dammed it off and then they pumped it up around, so it went down the downstream side. Like coffer dams and stuff like that.
Okay. Did we take the vote?
Roll call. Everybody's done.
16, Placer on
AI, artificial intelligence. So we're trying to bring Big Brother to the county. This package right here, we're gonna work with Ed and some other economic development groups in the area. Our portion of it's $5,000. We anticipate National Grid coming back and supporting us as well with half the costs. But this is gonna let us know who shops where, what time they do it. It's gonna give us a lot of information to help us market different it'll tie in great with the food processing side of things we're looking to do. It'll tie in great with convenience stores. It'll tie in great with distribution centers. It'll really help us with the markets. $5,000 is a small amount. We'll have full use of the entire package. Once again, Ed's reaching out to us. And it's just what I've seen of it, the demo. If anybody wants to see it, we can send it over to you. It's kind of freaky. It really is what they know and what times and how much data they do have, and it updates all the time. So we're excited to be a part of that. More than just two counties, maybe even Madison. Also some independent groups out of there that are looking as well to join, but we'll have all of us, it can be many users, but we'll be able to utilize that. It'll help when we're marketing different things. The Dupole property, everybody's looking to put in. So what type of industry could support that? How many, people go to that Aldi's in a week?
Is it in real time?
Oh, yeah, it's freaky. It's very freaky. Yeah, well, it's very impressive too, and they use a lot of economic development sources, use that around, but not as many in the state. Our economic development in the state, when it comes to individual IDAs and economic development groups, are kind of behind in a lot of these things. So we're excited to be a part of something like this. So we think it's a very good option. Ryan, Victoria, and Stacy all looked at it as well, and it'll fit well into the plan.
Another tool on the, all right, any, discussion? Need a vote? Lori, second. Mike, 1 second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 17 is Hutchins Ross, legal representation for a solar project. I don't know about the
Well,
story.
yes, just so you know, this doesn't just solar no, it's only solar. So,
It's been nice, Jeff.
yeah, well, it has been. I don't want our relationship. But this is a large solar project, a 350 megawatt solar project that will be the largest in the state. It will include the towns of Columbia and Litchfield. It will also include whatchamacallit, UTEP for, which we don't have in place, which we'll work with them on for battery storage backup and substations. It's did I mention it's a $500 million project and encompassing over 3,000 acres. So I've looked at some other projects. There's a 280 megawatt project in Genesee County, and it's a good base to go off of. This is a 94 seat project. It was approved by the governor in NYSERDA, so it's full steam ahead. They sent over an engagement letter. If you had a chance to read it, it's fine. If you didn't, it's like any one of our other projects. The developer pays the tab. So the IDA will not, but we need to do the engagement letter in order to support this. It'll be a lease back situation again. There's some unique things in it. Once again, the size. Once again, EDF is a unique individual company, and the battery backup and the substation is definitely unique. So
no cost to us.
no cost to us.
Need a motion? Any discussion? Motion by, John Serrano, second. Lori. Further discussion?
Anybody want to know about like Hodgkin Russ at all? I mean, we've used them for other things. There are about 150 attorney firms throughout the state. They have a gentleman on board named Dan Spitzer that pretty much wrote a lot of the solar law that's in place right now. Chuck Malcolm will be here indeed, and we all know what a rock star he was for the Quackenbush. So
Jim,
Yes. Tim.
any concern about the loss of farmland? I know that's a huge concern in upstate New York, and it's probably one of the major issues going across the country with solar and losing the farm.
Go ahead.
So Jim, all of those farmers have agreed to lease their property to EDF. So the individual owners are all on board. It's very difficult to stop those individual owners when they want to, participate in the program. Even
Yeah,
towns-
I'm not, that's their land, John, I understand, but my concern is, we're losing farmland across the country, and it's a serious issue.
Well, it'd be interesting if they could step up the ag and make that change, but right now, these people in their area want to see it happen, so.
Okay,
I don't
thank
think
you.
that's on that side.
Solar farming, but I see what Jim's getting. Yeah, thanks, John. What Jim's getting, we get that all the time, and I know Kate Ricky was staunch about that, and farmland, or even any business park that we take anywhere about. I mean, those are great jobs. Here are the jobs aren't there, but although this is 3,000 acre.
Well, there'll be support people, and there'll be many construction jobs, and they'll also utilize local excavating, rock, gravel, sanding, gravel, concrete, fencing companies. They're also working with the chamber. They're working with BOCES and Karen's group. They're also interested in working with developer Baron, the one who does the video, doing all that video training type things. They do agree that they do need farm. They're working here at Livermore right now on that as well to host some type of farm type business there as well. So each farm will still have some capabilities to farm, but it's just what's happening.
Jimmy, any other further? Wallace, Mr. Wallace?
Thanks, Jim. No, I've seen the resolutions recently from Madison and a couple other counties kind of against this stuff, and I just thought I'd bring it up since I had seen it. And I do have a concern. I think we all know what's going across the country and the world with the lack of farming in the United States and how important that is.
Carry on.
But thanks for listening.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Motion to accept the. We had a motion. Right? Yep. Just a vote. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Concerns from residents or neighbors of their.
One thing that you'll want to start to look at is the 94C program. The state changed the rules from Article 10 to the 94C. It really does take the neighbors out of it. What they'll have to do though is any type for solar, they'll have to put up some type of barriers that'll all be part of it. But easements that might run across other people's properties, it's pretty much going to be allowed now. They're looking at host community benefits for there too. So that can include trucks, salt sheds, a whole host of different things that help them support. It's okay that you do that, but you're abstaining from us hiring legal people. Do you not want us to hire illegal to move ahead? Or are you abstaining from the project?
Thank you for clarifying that. That's premature at this point in time, because it's nothing before the board.
Yeah.
State. Thank you for clarifying that. I would.
Yes. Thanks. All right, item 18, business support from Town Web in Ohio.
Yes. So I also sit on the Adirondack Economic Development Group up out of 14 counties along the North Country. Herkimer County is part of it. Oneida County is also part of it. And they put together an agreement with Lewis County where they were going in and doing small business development, understanding, helping them with WMBE certifications. What I'm looking to do is, and if it's okay with the board, because of their distance away from where they're located, and there are a lot of smaller businesses and more people that are involved being up there now because of COVID, I would like to support it, and if it's totally up to the board. I know that, but they have a good group together that help out with small loans, work with them on grants, would work with them on setting up a business. Would be a rough contract, about a year contract for roughly around $5,000. They would set up a time where they would meet one-on-one with the businesses. They'd set up like a day and set up a schedule that they could come in. They'd always be available via Zoom. But they're very good with the small business things. And I think that would help up in that area where, we don't have the manpower as much, but this might help. I know it would help the companies up there, the smaller businesses, the gentleman who makes the hat racks, the other groups that are developing small fly rods or reels, different things like that, smaller farms. So I think it's important that we do service that area a little better, and they have the staff and the grants and loans that are available too up there that I think they could give them another option. So I received the sample of the one from Lewis County, and this would be very similar to it. And I'm looking for a not to exceed. I know I could do one, but I think it's important that the board buys into it as well. That shows some additional support in the northern part of our county. Not to exceed 5,000. It'll be a year deal, and we could evaluate it after a year. But I think we would go up and at the initial meeting, whoever wanted to go up and meet with them and tell them, look, we're giving them another avenue that can help them support the North Country.
We'll revisit in a year.
Yeah.
Any motions? Recommendation. 10 from second, Corey. Any discussion? All in favor to spend 5,000? 11 Ohio. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Carried. All right. Item 19, final alternatives for smaller ID projects. What are their alternatives, John?
Well, I'm after I talked with Tony a while back about one of the newer projects coming in. I think it's important that we still try to support them with a pilot or per se, a PIP down towards what we're looking to accomplish there. Some of the smaller companies do have that great opportunity to grow. The company in front where we have the 5,000 acres committed, or 5 acres committed to, their project build and everything is smaller, that it really wouldn't support our fee as well as Tony's full fee. And I'm just looking to see if there's an appetite for us to take a look at how we can support some of these smaller projects. God bless you. I don't know if the high tech guy would be in that realm, that it would be under that dollar amount, but I think there might be a time, and I know it's out of our norm to sway from our fee amount, but when we're talking smaller business that we can do some opportunity with, and I haven't asked Tony for any adjustments either. Excuse me, I know the work would probably be very similar, and especially to get the properties to where they're ready. I know we've been doing a ton of work on that. But I just think it's something that we need to look at to help all businesses. We like to have homegrown businesses in our area. Not all of them can afford, they're putting in a lot of their own money in most cases. They haven't gone after other grants. And I think we should really look at how we can support the smaller business with less fees and more support. And get them into some tax incentive for property and sales tax abatement, even mortgage reporting tax. Even though it's not as large as some of our other ones, I think it still shows good support by the IDA. And just looking for some feedback on it.
So standard fee is 1% on a project.
Yeah.
You're asking for one.
I don't know. I think we maybe set up some guidelines. Maybe we go down to 1/4% or 1/2. I think we look at, mortgage recording tax, even if it's $1 million, is still a hit for them. It's $1 million project. It's small for us, but it's big for a smaller company. It continues to show growth in our area. I don't know. I think it's something we need to investigate. I just want, I don't want to go doing a lot of search if you guys don't think we would ever support something like that.
What about the local towns? I know we had the argument with, some towns give a break and other towns will put the screws to us.
Well, no one in this current state has put the screw to us, maybe in the past before we were involved. I think that right now what we would do is start with our board and go to them when the project comes up and say, this is what we've done. Can you assist with maybe zero permitting or some other fees? I don't know what other things there would be but permitting. But we could look to do that too. I just, I think it's important after talking with a lot of other groups out there that, and I know Tony's done a ton of work with like some of the current companies we have in place. And yes, they did pay that amount. But the amount of things that we do for those weigh the same amount. We do a lot. We do the paperwork and everything. However, I think it might be good to see what we can do to help smaller businesses grow in the county.
Tier that based on the five.
It might be a good idea to have.
Would be a case by case basis that you would evaluate.
Could be that.
Individual a slippery slope like that, because people will say, well, you treated them, you gave them a break, and then you didn't.
You
give me
set
a
a
break.
standard and then.
You better set it in stone. If the project is 1 million, it's this. If it's 500,000,
I just want to raise my hand. I'm not a board member, but because I'm involved with negotiations, I could just hear these larger companies saying, I'm bringing X hundred jobs and you didn't cut me a break on the fees. And I've got one individual in mind right now
Oh, I know.
who's not going to add any jobs, so just moving things. And, they might fall into this. So it's a very slippery slope when you open the box. And I'm not saying it's not worthy of discussion. Maybe it's tied to jobs. But
I don't think we move on the property costs, because I think that would be a mistake. I think everybody sees that cost and we don't need to change that.
Where's your cutoff?
I don't know yet. I shouldn't say actually, should they say discussion, because I think it's important that the whole board talks about discussing it. So.
So we're talking about different fee for somebody that's got 50 employees and somebody that's got 300 employees.
Well, no, I think it would be project dollar.
Project.
Because we look at the cost of different things, and when you look at the cost of the current one that's got the option on the 5 acres in the front of the park, he's not spending, maybe now it's $1 million, but it wasn't $1 million to build his office space and what he needed. And make his facility work what he needs to do. You know, in the same way with the newer opportunity we have, they might build to start with a $2 million facility. You know, and that really, when we get down to the numbers and to see if it's beneficial for us to do all that, sometimes it doesn't work out. With Tony's fee and our fee and, you know, to equal out with the percentages on the gift. A $45 million project, it works out, whether they have a mortgage recording tax or not, so.
Maybe something to think about and
Well, I don't want to kick the can too long, so if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to maybe present something at the next meeting. But, you know, and I appreciate Tony's input on that too. I think it's important.
come up with something to look at. And then, you know, it all depends what we come up with. So, yeah, go ahead.
Does the one that you're not being individuals contract, do they have to show the restructuring?
Well, they won't be a pilot. They won't have the numbers. Yeah, they won't do it. It just won't work out. You know.
Well, I agree, but in the, you know, commercial development sector I work with, there are a lot of developers out there who are coming to the IDAs in the first place. So, yeah, it's discussion.
Okay.
Good decision.
Yeah. All right, let's, comments by our officials. Is something smaller? Are you still on?
We have to jump off at 9.
Anyone else, Jim Wallace or legislators?
You guys got a lot going on, keep John busy. I'm still looking for this fish line, I'll see it. It's a long fish line, it's a long person.
Oh, you're gonna see it the day I.
Moderator.
Thank you.
Jim Wallace, anything to add or,
All set, James, thanks.
all right, anyone else? Somebody jumped on midway at the new ones.
I think it was the CNY Business Journal. She got kicked off or something.
No, she's still, oh, no, she's not. Yeah.
That's the-
All right, these are updates.
The first thing I want to say, and I didn't realize this till before I presented at the, to the county, but Victoria and Stacy got some numbers together, and since February of 2018, the IDA has secured $14.7 million in grants. So we're excited about that number. I've talked to some of my other counterparts, and they thought that was a very good number. So we'll continue on, which you keep hearing at our meetings there. Why not take advantage of those? Everybody else should be, and we're excited to keep doing it. The next item on there, the budget workshop orientation training. There'll be no voting at that. We'll have another new member at our next meeting. I think it's good for a refresher for everybody. So we'll have a meeting that we don't have to have public. There'll be no voting, but it'll be called the budget workshop orientation training. And we'll go through the budget and how we put that together and let everybody know the numbers. So we'll be planning that. We might actually, and we'll invite the board to that so everybody can be there. Dual fold, we received another $100,000 EPA grant. That's to help us with marketing of the building and situating it in an area that we can say floor 1 should be retail, floor 2 should be offices, 3 and 4 should be upper level housing. But we're working with that. They will be in the area. They're a firm, I think they're from Denver, aren't they? Where are they from? They're not from here, but the EPA selected them. They'll be here on July 27th and 28th. So we'll be looking to have several meetings with them and appreciate the board all attending that. The upcoming Brownfield Convention for, wouldn't that be 2023?
That's you're speaking in.
Oh, no, that's the other one. Yeah, I'm sorry. Should put these on. So at the EPA conference in Oklahoma City, I'm speaking on the 16th at the EPA group meeting. Just so everybody knows, not that I'm participating in you attending, but also just so everybody's aware of too, and I know I said it, but the National Grid did agree to pay for half the travel, God bless you, half the hotel and half the fee for the convention. So that's a good conference. That's still moving forward. The Fuse Hub event went fantastic. Vitality in the Valley, one of the largest attended Fuse Hub events they ever had. We had the head of NISTAR there. We had 2 college presidents. We had some great people that came through, ESD, a lot of different organizations. Everybody's on track to do it again. Couldn't ask for a better event. These are just things that we continually work with to help bring them to the valley. Mohawk Valley, Corey, did you have anything you wanted to say on the piece of that?
No, I think it was more than 110 people there. They said it was the biggest event they've had in person in years, and it was great. I heard from college. Some of you were there, and it was great. And we brought it here to Herkimer County, and that could be #1 on the list in the state. It was impressive event.
We had Matt Watson, who's really the boots on the street, was very good. We had a few up there. So we really did well with that. We're excited. We teamed up with Fogle Scale, which was a great team up too. Worked out really well. Mohawk Valley Brownfield Summit. We had this past few months ago. We had it at Montgomery Community College. Talked to a few people. We're leading the pack to host this next coming year. We'll do that at the college as well. We brought in people all over the Northeast to that, so that'll be another great event. I already talked to the commissioner of DEC, Basil, and he said he'd be very interested in being a speaker at that. So we're looking to attract more people there. Our food processing study went great at the college. We had a great turnout. We received some of the deliverables. We'll put all that together for our next meeting and also email it out prior to. We've already had some people looking at us for some other type of dairy processing, milk and yogurt. So that's moving ahead. And we just so they, thank you. Village of Dollarville, BOA. So we're moving ahead with that brownfield opportunity. So we're bringing another thing to Dollarville. Russell Farm is quite interesting. Working with the town, they voted on everything we brought to them. Health Department had some questions. We're moving ahead with that. We're going out to bid very shortly to bring the water and sewer over. They've agreed to allow us to use plastic piping there. We're just bringing it into the park. Should be having some dates on that very soon. And stop me if anybody has questions on any of this. I'm moving along. Professional development with QuickBooks. Once again, we're using Bowers accounting firm to help us with questions we have. Victoria and Stacy had a lengthy call with them the other day. Really speaking up where we need to put things and make sure that we're all set with where we file things. So we continually move ahead there. It's been great. Clear Path Energy. I know Stacy sent you an email on that. Did you have a chance to look at anything?
I reached out to John Sid, who was their counsel yesterday afternoon, and his response back to me was, they're still interested. And I said, you got to get to some sort of a timeline because it's languishing. Tell me you're moving forward. Tell me if that's supply chain issues. Let me know. Because it has to be- I know.
And they also start, I believe that they're clearing space.
I asked that question. He said he was unaware of it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You know, they don't get the sales tax benefit.
I hope so. So Clear Path is another solar project in the town. Which we've already received all the fees and everything, so I'm not sure what we're doing. UTEP, we talked a little bit that we have to do those for battery backup and substation. Water transmission line, CDBG, the county's been very helpful with that. We're moving ahead and setting up the 1.25 grant there that'll help us with additional piping. They've done the public hearing. We're just moving ahead with them to vote on that. Where are we with Masonic? Have you been able to get a hold of the owner?
No.
Do
No.
you have a time frame on that?
I will bring that to the top of the pile. That put aside when I got distracted by issues over in Frankfurt.
Okay. And then we also are applying for a CDBG grant for a zoning grant for all the municipalities. We reached out to 5 of them, the town of Frankfurt, the village of Ilion, the village of Mohawk, the town of Herkimer. And what was the other one? Who did I forget? There's one in there. I forgot. Newport. They've all sent back their endorsement letters on that. The grant will be to work with 2 county planning in each community on updating their zoning maps and making them all so we can email them and everybody will be updated for any type of development, whether it's housing, farming, or anything. So that's a good grant that we're going after in conjunction. We're pretty confident in that as well. We do need to go into executive session about property. And other than that, I think we're good with everything. Unless anybody has anyone else.
Who's in charge of the Charles?
Well, that's quite unique. The mayor, Paul Mary, thinks he is, though he's never been to one meeting, so I find that quite unique. And Brian Thompson talks about all the things that can be done there, only they want a small portion. Oh, yeah, they started. 800,000 is gonna tear it all down. I find that amazing, but that's great. And the fence. So we've been working with Edge on that and HRP and the EPA. So right now, we were very upset that they wouldn't let our guy come in and take over the brick, the wood and the iron, because he wanted to buy all that. And our EPA guy said that would be too tough of a cleanup, and we said it's no cost to you. That could truly save on some of the money, but this, I know we're being recorded and everything, so I can't really say what I want to say. However, they're moving ahead with it. Myself and Mr. Holland actually had a meeting with a potential development on that site. We've also been approached on solar on that site, but we gotta wait to see. So with it comes an $800,000 lien. But we really need one community to step up. And if Paul Mary wants to step up, he can take it over. I'm sure the town and the county wouldn't have to be opposed to letting them annex that property. Yes, would you really? So then the county will take it over? No. So it'll sit there forever. Well, it won't be. No. The only thing that they're removing is the brick. They're not taking up any of the base. They're not doing any ground cleanup. It's strictly just the brick, iron and wood. So it's not a cleanup.
All right, any other, organization? All right, folks, make a motion to go in executive session. Tim, Mike. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. This is for, they can, everyone can stay, Victoria, Mr. Wallace, Jim, you can.
Is that on? Because that's the